Hi, and welcome to the Village Employee Connection Podcast. I am Diana Gebelhoff, your host. This is episode 1. Welcome to the Welcome Desk. Let's get started. For our very first episode, my guest is Ryan Rizzo, the Welcome Desk Manager at Gainey Village. Welcome, Ryan.
Hello. Hi, Diana.
I'm so glad to have you today, and I appreciate you being the very first guest on our podcast series. Ryan, you've worked with the Village for a while now, and you actually started in the cafe. How long have you been with the Village, and what was your path from cafe to now being the Welcome Desk Manager?
Yeah. I started in the cafe in 2013. I was 19, I believe, when I started. Well, the math adds up. So yes, I was 19. And then was front of house there, went to the back of the house, and then transferred over to the welcome desk. They needed a manager at the welcome desk at the time, so I applied, got the job, and I've been managing for 6 or 7 years, and in total I've been at the Village for 11. So 11 as of March.
Congratulations. That's amazing. And I know we do have a lot of longtime employees that have had a successful career pathway and have become promoted. So I really think that's so important and a very important part of our company and our environment here. Can you tell us something about yourself that not many people know?
Yeah. So in my free time, I have a lot of hobbies, but love sports, love basketball. I love video games. I play a lot of video games in my free time, and I stream them online. It's a good break from the Village to go do that. It's a good break from that to come to the Village. So
That's awesome. And you compete with those as well, don't you? With your
um
video games or not?
not necessarily compete, just more so streamline. I'm nowhere near like good enough to do any of that. So I wish one day, maybe if I keep at it, maybe I'll get there, but I don't know if I
Maybe.
can.
So, Ryan, you know, one of our village standards categories is people. And the welcome desk people make the very first impression on our members and guests. I'm curious, when you're hiring staff, what are some of the qualities you look for?
I mean, the main thing you kind of look for, or at least I look for with the welcome desk, is personality. Just making sure they can hold a conversation. I mean, being able to communicate with me, I mean, that's a huge thing, is being able to communicate with me, because then I know how they're going to communicate with our members.
Yeah.
Obviously a customer service background is helpful, but a lot of the hiring that we have is college. So it's almost like their first job. So just trying to get that experience of, okay, they know how to talk to people, they know how to communicate. They have somewhat of a personality so that they can communicate with our guests.
In terms of training, do you train them? Uh, I think you train them first and then maybe have them shadow another employee. What is that process like for the welcome desk attendant?
Absolutely. Well, when they get in here, obviously they have to learn our system. So we kind of go through the system, make sure that they're comfortable and confident with that. If you're not confident with the system, you're not going to be confident answering questions from someone. So kind of go through that. Then I have them shadow one of my leads, or kind of someone that works a ton of hours that I know is capable of training someone else or kind of walking them through some things. And just have them shadow them for a couple days. I would say probably within a week and a half, 2 weeks, they're kind of good to be on their own and they can kind of do their own thing. But then it's constantly coaching and making sure that they're saying correct things, or how to word a certain situation. If they need to talk to them, or they need to talk to membership about something, how to approach that with a member and kind of feed them that information. But I would say that's as far as the training goes, and then continuing to coach.
I'm sure part of your training is to have them understand what our village standards and the behaviors are, because that's very helpful in creating the culture that we have at the village here. Aside from that, can you tell us about your department and your role in your department and some of your key responsibilities? I know I see you at the front covering shifts sometimes. And I know that the welcome desk manager position it can get pretty involved. So tell us a little bit about that and kind of what your role and responsibilities are.
I mean, the main role is obviously making sure that the desk is staffed and training everyone
Yes.
there. But filling in shifts if someone's sick or someone's out, you're kind of the first person to step in and cover those shifts. That goes for most of department heads. And then on the back end, I do the conference room bookings. We did the trip reduction as well. So I actually run the trip reduction for all 4 clubs, and then the employee of the month. So I run that for Gainey.
What is the most fun or rewarding part of being the welcome desk manager?
Fun would definitely be interacting with the members. We have a lot of different, I guess I should say characters. We have a lot of characters and a lot of fun personalities that come in as members, and just kind of getting to know them and just having a good time, really. Just becoming friends with them. I guess the reward of it all is being able to come into work and do that. I mean, a lot of people can't say they get to come into work and kind of joke around with their clientele in a way. So
Right.
just getting to know these people and getting to know what they're about, and even with staffing and coming into your workplace and enjoying the people that you're around, it's a huge thing. So it's a big reward.
Awesome, Ryan. So on the flip side of that, what are some of the challenges that you face?
I mean, every department's going to have their challenges. I would say the welcome desk, the main challenges we kind of go through, it's just a streamline of information. We're kind of the first people that you see when you walk in, and if we don't have all the information, say like a class is canceled, the steam room's down, or there's construction going on somewhere, and if we don't know that and we have a member coming in asking us about it, makes it a little bit harder. But I mean, I guess that would be the biggest challenge, really, and just obviously making sure those shifts are covered on my end for me. But yeah, just making sure you have the right people in there, and streamline of information coming to the desk.
Right, the streamline of information, communication, knowing what's happening in your club so that your employees are well informed and they can inform our guests and members. That's really, really important for the member experience, I think. What is one of the most important things about your department you want our employees to know?
One of the most important things about our department is that, I mean, like I was saying before, we're the first people you see when you walk in the club. We kind of have to have that first impression. Every new member, every new guest coming in here that's a potential member, we're the first face you see. So it's kind of a lot on their shoulders to make sure that we're kind of selling, I guess, selling our club to them with just being who we are and our personalities, and showing them that this is the place they want to be at. But I guess that's kind of the main thing, and just feeding that information to them.
Ryan, you know our village vision is to be a place where everyone wants to join and no one wants to leave. So how does your department and the work you do impact that vision?
I mean, it's just making them feel at home. A lot of these people, they come in here for surprisingly 8-9 hours a day, so it's almost like their first home and not their second home. But
Yes.
making sure we're accommodating to them if they need anything, and that they're comfortable enough to tell us if there's an issue or if something's out or kind of broken down, so they can actually tell us and we can fix it.
Yeah, definitely. We are a second home for so many of our members, and we have a very, very high retention. And we have, I'm sure you've seen it too. We've seen members and members' kids grow up here and then they become members. It's really a special thing that we have here at the village. And the welcome desk plays such a huge, important part in our members' experience. So you do a great job with your staff. Can you think of something other departments can do to support your team?
I mean, I would say the main thing is just kind of jumping in and helping. And I feel like that goes across the board for almost every department.
Yes.
The department head kind of learn the ropes, learn a little bit. Since like for example, we just got silverware in our cafe. It's getting behind there, learning it a little bit, just so if they're in a bind, you can jump back there and help. And I guess that goes for the desk as well. If you can go and check people in while we're ringing people up or on the phone, that would be huge. It goes a long way with just checking a couple people in, knowing that someone else has your backup there. So
For sure. I've seen Greg, or I've tried to step in. Sometimes I'm not very qualified, but
you
I
do
do the
great.
best I
You do
can.
great.
Ryan, will you share a story about how you lived out one of the village values? And our values are fun, friendship, integrity, involvement, trust, and teamwork. So tell me a story about one of those values you lived out, Ryan.
Um, I guess it would be fun. It's the one that I lived out here. I'm trying to think of something that won't get me in trouble, but it's fine. We're not gonna get in trouble. No, I would say fun. I mean, we have a lot of member parties, and a lot of members are very interactive and they're fun and they're having a good time. And I got somehow convinced to um have a flamingo race and dive into our pool and try to jump onto a flamingo, which I won, which I know you're gonna say that I lost, but I won.
Video. So we'll have to see about that.
I won. I won. I've
I
had it in my
remember
head for
you
years
falling
now.
off several times.
And I got back up because that's persistence, and we kept
Way to
trying.
go, Ryan. I love that. I mean, we do have a lot of fun here at the village. We work really hard. I know that I feel like I'm always on, and you do too. But boy, we sure can have a lot of fun. And I'm glad that we have the members also that embrace that village value. Ryan, is there one thing you can think of that every employee can do to make a member stay?
Yeah, it's as simple as saying hello and how's your day. I know we see that from time to time as being just a part of the job and just having them ask what's going on in their day, but you can kind of see in the member's face that, oh wow, someone actually cares. They actually want to know what's going on. Or I mean, we do a lot of little things at the front. We have the happy birthday things, little smoothies as well. I believe Jim came up with that, and that was an amazing idea. It's just something to keep it interactive with member to staff, and it goes a long way without really thinking it does, I guess.
What you're saying, because you can clearly see on a member's face how surprised they are when one of your staff says, "Oh, by the way, happy birthday."
Yeah.
It really just makes their day. And it truly is the little things that have a really, really huge impact on our members and guests. So, Ryan, what is a valuable lesson you have learned since working here at the village?
I have two. I'm kind of throwing myself under the bus here, but organization. When I first started in management, I was terrible at organizing and making sure I was on top of things. I've gotten a lot better, or so I think I did. But I've gotten better at kind of making sure I'm on top of my stuff and knowing what's going on. And I guess another huge thing is just asking questions, not feeling dumb to ask questions, not worried about what people are going to think. And I would say the village does a great job at that. I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of the same people as in Greg and Denise. They've been with me almost the whole time I've been here. So asking them questions, it's never what do you mean, or why aren't you doing this yet? It's always a helpful answer and always willing to help and kind of guide me in the right direction. So I would say those are kind of the two main things that I've learned.
So important to have a good mentor. And I myself, having started 20 plus years ago as an admin assistant and now being the director of employee training, can certainly relate to mentorship. Carol, of course, was my mentor, and she also allowed me to come to her with ideas, questions. I think it's really important. And our senior team is one that embraces an openness for new ideas and questions. So I think that's really important and a good part of working here at the village. So Ryan, how do you manage all the demands of your job? Do you have any tips or tools that work for you to manage priorities and your time?
Tips and tricks. I mean, I guess the main thing is just kind of leaving it at the door, regardless if you're going home or you're coming into work. That's been huge for me. Obviously, I'm still very aware that if an email comes in at a certain time, I probably need to respond if it's very important, but leaving it at the door, really, it's just making sure that you have time for yourself and that you're taking care of yourself and not always thinking about what's to come and what's happening. Just taking a little second to decompress, really.
Probably playing video games and such does help you. It does help you decompress a little bit and
Yeah,
get
I
your
mean,
mind off of work.
absolutely. And me just being the best that I can with video games and not really really reaching for the stars, I guess.
You're not sitting in your mom's basement eating Cheetos and playing video games, are you, Ryan?
No, as of last month, no, I'm not. I finally got out of there. No.
Good for you. So with that said about managing your well-being, is there a part of the club you leverage to help your health and well-being here at the village?
Yeah, I mean, basketball is huge with me. I love sports, so having that basketball court was actually, funny enough, was the selling point when I first got hired. My old manager Bill walked me around the club and I saw the basketball court and I was like, I need to work here if I have access to this basketball court whenever I want. And that's what I got in the door, and now I've been here 11 years, I guess.
Yes, and we have big basketball courts at all of our clubs, and there certainly are a lot of social things that go on the basketball court. And that's a really good point that it brings people together and you can relieve a little bit of stress.
Absolutely.
As long as you're not cursing loudly on the basketball court, Ryan, I think you're
Hey,
safe.
that's never been me. That's never been me. So.
Thank goodness. So, Ryan, I want to thank you for being my inaugural guest on our first podcast. And your insights as welcome desk manager has added immense value to this conversation today. I want to thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
How about leaving us with an inspirational quote, a mantra, or a code you live by?
I don't
Can you
know if
do
it's
that for us?
I don't know if it's so inspirational, but I would just say, hey, life's a beach and I'm just playing in the sand. That's all it is.
I love that, Ryan. You're amazing. I'm lucky to work with you. And I want to thank you again, Ryan.
Yes. Thank you for having me on here.
So we've come to the end of our very first episode of Village Employee Connection podcast. I hope each of you know the important role you play in making our clubs a success each and every day. So goodbye for now, and until next time, remember, it sure takes a village.